Hey everyone, this is Certified High Performance Coach Michelle Weimer here with you today. Thank you for joining me. Um, so today we're kind of continuing our conversation from last week. So if you missed that video, make sure you go back and watch it. And we're talking about, really how you spend your time is how you spend your life. It's how you spend your soul. So it's important that you choose how you spend your time wisely. And the truth of the matter is, we all only have 24 hours in the day. And so if we're not doing either things that we love or that are important to us, things we value, or if we're not doing things to move us into creating a life that we love and value and want, then we're missing something. So in continuing that conversation, yesterday, or excuse me, last week, I talked about how important it was to visualize what it was you wanted to create, and then to prioritize, be very clear and prioritize what needs to be done, and then to organize. Get your day planned and organized. And so today, what I'm doing is diving a little bit deeper into that idea of organizing your day for maximum efficiency. Because again, we all only have 24 hours in the day. So, how can you be as productive as possible in order to get the things done, to spend your time wisely and efficiently? So, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to share some tips with you about how you can organize your day for maximum efficiency. And there's a quote by a woman named Linda Peterson, and she simply says, with organization comes empowerment. And there's a lot of truth to that, whether you are organized in your home or your office. It just feels good, right? It has a certain energy to it. But being organized in your day with your schedule and your tasks and the things that need to get done, the needle movers, as I like to call them, that move the needle forward on your goal, on reaching that end goal. Those, getting organized with that is very empowering because it gives you control of your day instead of letting your day control you, instead of letting other people's agendas control you, instead of letting other, circumstances or things that come up. You really have more control and you're more empowered to be taking consistent action, because if you want to reach a goal, if you do have important things in mind, or you want to just spend your time doing what you love, I'm someone who's super busy. My girls are very involved in athletics and sports. We travel a lot. Matter of fact, I'm going to be leaving here in about an hour to take one of my daughters to practice. We're always on the go, and in order for me to use my time wisely and to be as effective as possible during the workday, so that I can take that time off to do the things I love, because again, anybody knows me knows, my family is my number one priority, and my clients are the other thing that's so important to me, my job and my family. And so in order for me to make sure I'm doing those things that are important to me, I have to plan my day well. I have to organize my time for maximum efficiency. So here's the tips that I have for you today, right? First of all, have a morning routine. There is proof that having a regular morning routine can start your day off in a really positive and productive way. It kind of sets you up, right? And the thing that I want to really encourage you to do when I say positive and productive, that's important, because if you get up first thing in the morning and you turn on the news, and I know there's a lot of news happening right now, but when you do that, think about the negativity that you're feeding yourself right off the bat, right? And so, what does that do to your energy? Well, negative information creates more negative energy. So, if you want to be as efficient as possible during the day, and guess what? Sometimes it's not about the time, how much time you have. Sometimes it's about how much energy you have. Because if you're mentally or physically tired and you don't have the energy that you need to really keep things going, then you're not going to be as productive. So have a positive morning routine. Maybe instead of watching the news, listen to a podcast, a motivational podcast. If you are someone who, you always think, oh, I'd love to journal or meditate, or maybe you do, maybe start your day off like that, right? Something positive so you can set your day up for success. Exercise. Exercise is a great way to get your body going, but have a true morning routine. And I'm going to talk some more about morning routines in the weeks to come, but for now, just start thinking about that. What does your morning look like? The second thing, know when and how you work best. So what I mean by this is if you are a morning person and you know that you are, super creative, you think really clear, you're fired up in the mornings, then plan your hard tasks or the things that are really going to require your mental capacity for first thing in the morning. If you need to make calls to potential clients, or if you need to, write an article, and there's times when you are probably more effective to do tasks like that. You need the energy to be excited on a call, or you need the clarity and creativity to sit and write. Like, know when you work best. I myself, I am not so much a morning person. I get up super, super early so I can get my morning routine in, but I find that creatively, I actually write better in the afternoon. So I tend to write when I'm writing an article or something like that. I tend to do that in the afternoon. Now, that being said, I want high energy when I'm speaking to my clients, so I schedule my clients for earlier in the day because that's how I know, that's how I work best, and that's how I schedule my day. So it's important to organize that. The third tip I want to share with you, simple, and you've probably heard it before: do it, delegate it, or dump it. And if you are someone who has had something on your to-do list for months and months, it's time to dump it. The truth of the matter is, if it's been on your to-do list for the last 3 to 6 months and you haven't done it yet, then it's probably not a priority. And remember, vision, priority, and organize. You really, it's not that important to you, and that's okay, right? I mean, I've had clean out the storage room on my to-do list for a long time. But in the whole grand scheme of things that are important to me, it's not as important as other things. And so, I could easily take it off the list. But if you think about work relations, right? So if it's something you really need to do, and you need to do, like you need to contact a client or a customer, you need to write a report, or you need to, do something that only you can do, by all means, do it. Put it as a priority, schedule it into your day well, and get it done. If it's something that you can delegate, for example, you know, having, let's say filing something, or filing a list of things, if you have a secretary, or if you have even at home, right? Like, maybe you can delegate some of the household duties to other people in the house. Delegate, give somebody else that job so that you don't have to do it all. Or again, dump it if it's not that important to you. The fourth tip that I want to give you is have more than one list. So what do I mean by that? Because I'm like, wow, you have this giant long to-do list, and now I'm telling you to have more than one. But here's the reason why. What I want you to do when you break down your to-do list is I want you to break it down into some categories. Important and urgent things. Like, this is the stuff, this is really important, it's a priority, and it needs to get done. Ideal or possible things. And these are things like, well, ideally I'd like to do this, but it's not a priority and it's not urgent. And if I had time, then, and it would be possible to do it, then I'd like to get it done. And then the dream projects. And these dream projects are things that, I love to do this, but right now it's probably not in the cards. It's okay, I'm going to keep it on there. Like, this might be where I would place my to-do task of cleaning out the storage room, right? Like, ideally, in the dream, I'd love to do this or that. That's your dream list. So breaking it down, what that does for you is that it helps you make it more manageable. It helps you, number one, get some clarity about what's most important to you and what must get done. And then it also helps you know, when you look at your to-do list, you don't feel overwhelmed, right? Because if you have a giant to-do list, the first thing you look at it and you're overwhelmed, or you're feeling dread, and then it's like hard to take action when you feel overwhelmed. And I want you to forgive me. We're going to run a little long today because I have 3 more tips that I want to give you. And they're important, you guys. So I want to thank those of you who are on right now watching to stay with me, and we'll just keep going. So the next tip that I have for you is to take breaks. So when you are scheduling your day, make sure that you have time for a break. Because if you find that your energy and focus are starting to kind of wane and go away, it really is imperative that you take a break. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes it's not just time that we need, it's energy that we need to be highly productive. And that's mental and physical energy. If you're physically tired, your brain's not going to work well. If you've been sitting at a desk all day long, pretty soon you're going to get physically and mentally tired. If you are already mentally tired because you're so stressed out because your to-do list is a mile long and it never seems to get done, then another reason why it's so important to break that list down. But then also you want to have the mental clarity. If you're getting tired, if your brain is starting to get fried because you've been working hard all day, get up and take some breaks. Breaks are so important. And sometimes those of you who think that you're so busy, that you have so much to do, that you don't have time to take a break, I want to really encourage you to shift that way of thinking, because when you change up time and energy, when you recognize that it's often not that you need more time, but that you need more energy so you can be clear and working in a focused manner, you'll be surprised at how much more productive you can be. The next tip for you is be fully present and focused. You've probably heard me say the word focused a few times throughout this conversation today. Being present and focused will help you stay on task, will help you show up stronger, will help you avoid distractions, will help you avoid procrastination. So if you can be fully present and focused, avoiding distractions, it can be tremendous for your productivity. The other thing I'd say in terms of being focused is focus in on certain tasks that perhaps you can put together and block your time in your schedule accordingly. So for example, if you are someone who has to do, say, follow-up phone calls, and the script or the conversation of those phone calls is very similar, then I would encourage you to block your time so that you're having those phone calls just consistently. And that way you are kind of in the zone. It's sort of like if you think about, well, we just a car. If you have they have city miles and highway miles, and that's the miles per gallon, or the miles per gallon that a car will go. The city miles are always less. So maybe it gets 25 miles to the gallon in the city, but on the highway it gets 35 miles to the gallon. So why is that? It's because once you start rolling and you're not starting and stopping and starting and stopping like you would in the city, you have you burn less energy, and you have that consistent flow, right? Your wheels are rolling. You're just continuing to roll on. So this is the same concept. By blocking time and tasks, having the similar tasks kind of keeps you in that flow. It keeps you moving with it. And so it actually takes less energy, and you get in that rhythm, and you're more likely to get more done. Now, the last tip I have on, or actually before I go on to the last tip, let me just say one other thing about staying focused. Please don't multitask. Multitasking is a fallacy. It is not effective. It is not effective, because when your brain is all over the place, when you're thinking, oh, I'm doing this, gotta do this, gotta do that. I mean, studies show, research shows that people who multitask take longer to complete a task than those who get clear and get focused and put their energy on that one task. So even though you might think you're getting a lot done because you're doing a bunch all at once, it's not true. Overall, if you were to take a handful of tasks, do each one of them and follow them through until completion versus trying to do a bunch of them all at once where your brain's all over the place, you're going to find that you're going to get more done in the same period of time if you focus and get one thing at a time done. So please don't multitask. Okay, last tip is only 3 bigs a day. So What in the world does that mean? Only 3 bigs a day. Bigs are priorities, right? So uh, I want you to prioritize that to-do list that you started back in the other tip when I said to make more than one list and to break it down into the things that were urgent and important, the things that were ideal and possible, and then that dream list. So take that first list and get the most important things. Prioritize that list and then make those the things that you work on first thing in the day. So I like to call these non-negotiables, right? And a non-negotiable means no matter what, I have to get this done. Like it's non-negotiable. I can't negotiate with myself because that's usually who we end up negotiating with. Like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or well, I can always work on it later, or well, I don't think I'm going to have time for that, so I'll just skip it. Like we start negotiating with ourselves, and that doesn't work. So these are non-negotiables because these are the things that are going to move the needle forward to get you closer to your goal. These are the things that you prioritize. But if you have too many, you end up overwhelmed and stressed out and feeling horrible because you're not able to get them all done. So, only 3 bigs a day. Figure out what the 3 most important non negotiables are for you and prioritize those. It means, like these are the things that got to be on your list. These are the things that have got to be done. And once those 3 things are done, then the rest of it is like gravy. Like, wow, and now I'm getting even more done. And the thing is, rather than creating overwhelm for yourself by having more than 3, when you have 3 and you get them done, instead of overwhelm, you create motivation. You create empowerment. You create drive. You create this energy that helps you continue to be more productive. So those are my 7 tips. And you know what, by the way, if those 3 bigs are too big, then break them down as well. Break them up into smaller, more manageable steps or tasks, and then schedule that accordingly. So I know I went super long today. You know what? This was such an important topic because I hear all the time how people, I just don't have the time. I'm just so busy. I just don't have the time. I have so much to do. I have all these things on my to-do list that never seem to get done. I'm having a hard time staying focused on tasks. I feel like no matter what I do, it's never enough. Like this conversation happens so often. And if you're someone who's home right now, trying to parent your children from home, and work from home, and the stress of the world is feeling like it's weighing down on you, it's hard to get everything done. I get you. I know that. And that's why I want to help you get your days organized so that you can be more productive, so that you can start working towards the things that are really important to you and putting your time into spending your life like you want it. So thank you for hanging on today. Stay with me. Oh, and you know what? If you need some more help with this or anything that you're struggling with for that matter in terms of getting yourself set up for success, getting out of overwhelm and getting into high achievement, I think I told you all last week, but I am offering a gift to everyone as I start the countdown towards my 50th birthday. I'm doing strategy sessions for 50 people. And it's free, right? Like I want to help others celebrate their lives. I want to celebrate my life by helping you create a life that you can celebrate. So if you would like a strategy session with me, and it's an hour long, full on strategy session. We're going to cover some of these same topics I'm talking about here, along with some others that are really valuable to help you just get a plan for your future and help you figure out how to get through, not just survive, but kind of thrive through these times right now, because I know things are difficult for so many. So if you want to do that, go to michelleweimer.com/free session. Pretty simple, right? Free session at the end. I'll make sure you have the link here, but go and sign up because I'm only taking the first 50 people for free. After all, that's 50 hours of my time. So I have to organize my time well and organize my days well. But go now, and I do still have some slots available. So please do that. I would look forward to doing a strategy session with you and helping you through creating what it is you want to create in your life so that you can truly love and celebrate your life. So until next week, thank you for joining me. This is Certified High Performance Coach Michelle Weimer. Bye for now.